I was sent another device to feature on my channel. Let's see what it is. What we have here is a webcam from Rockware, model number RC08. While I unbox it, let me remind you that my channel sometimes gets the opportunity to cover interesting products. This product was sent to me at no charge in return for video coverage, but every opinion I share is my own. No part of this video or script was approved or consulted on in advance by a product provider, and that is true of every product feature video on my channel. Okay, let's see what we have here. Here's the webcam itself. It's a cute little camera. Let's talk about its main features. The box says all-in-one, but online they refer to it as 3-in-1. I'll cover what that means in a moment. Also included in the box is a USB-A to USB-C cable. 3-in-1. Let's talk about what this means. First is the camera sensor. It is supposed to be a wide-angle lens with fast autofocus. My limited experience with webcams has only been with fixed focus lenses, so I'm interested in testing this out. The base of the camera is a common hinge design that allows it to sit on the edge of most flat-screen monitors or laptop screens. An extra bit that I'm excited to see is a standard 1/4-inch thread tripod mount built into the base. This is a welcome added feature as it will allow it to be used with other camera gear like a tripod or desk-mounted camera arm. Otherwise, it can be propped on any flat surface, and it actually has multiple degrees of articulation, allowing many shooting angles, even portrait mode. It also has a mechanical privacy cover. Secondly, there is a built-in microphone. This is a pretty common feature for webcams. We need to see if it's a good enough quality for this cam's intended use, which is for video conferencing. It's very doubtful that it's sufficient for content creation, but we will be able to test some audio samples. There's also a touch point in the back to mute the mic, and this is where the USB-C cable plugs in. Lastly is the inclusion of a built-in speaker. This is the part that confuses me. I like the symmetrical face of the camera, but I don't know many use cases where you'd want your speaker built into it. It's a small speaker, tuned for vocal ranges, so we'll see how well voice comes across on it, and we'll see if it interferes with the internal mic. It's also important to note that mine is not a tech channel. I will be showing this product from the perspective of an average user and noting my experience with it. I will be able to show you examples of its image quality and audio capabilities, but I won't be able to compare it to other webcams in its class. My goal is to provide you with enough information for you to decide for yourself if this camera can fit your needs, but if you have specific benchmarks you'd need a webcam to reach, I encourage you to do further research outside of this video. With that being said, let's get started. It easily sat at the edge of my monitor. I like that the base is heavy enough that it isn't pulled around by the cord. It's standard plug and play, so once it was set up I could use it in any of my applications, such as OBS or Discord. To alert you that the camera is live, while it is active, the center LED glows blue. When you close the privacy cover, not only does the camera feed drop, but it also mutes the onboard speaker. To mute the microphone, touch the rear panel for 1 to 2 seconds, and I had as much luck with a quick double tap instead. While the microphone is muted, the LED changes to red. The rear button has a second use as well. If you touch the button for 8 to 10 seconds, this will change the camera to portrait mode. This is not instantaneous. The camera actually reboots and comes back in the requested orientation. This may mean you'll need to restart your software, so you shouldn't change back and forth during the same session. The LED changes to violet for portrait mode. Hold the button again to return to standard landscape mode. Just to the right of the lens, you can just make out the tiny laser light emitter that is used for the TOF autofocus. We'll play with that more later. Well, that's a good look at its features, so now let's actually see it in action. The video capabilities of this camera are pretty good. It purports to have a 2K sensor that downsamples to 1080. I can't test that, but the image quality is good overall. It may be a little soft, but it's certainly adequate for a Zoom meeting. The autofocus works well for keeping me in focus or for showing things closer up. There is no shock resistance, and if you watch closely, you can see the image gets momentarily disrupted by vibrations. Its low light performance is honestly commendable. Some settings, like white balance, exposure, and focus are automatic, but depending on your software, you may be able to override them if necessary. Now let's try the onboard mic. Thus far, everything I've said has been recorded by my trusty USB desk mic and processed in post, but for the next test, I won't process the audio. This is how I sound naturally through my desk mic, and this is how I sound through the RC08 mic. It is listed as being omnidirectional and echo canceling. Here's a sample further away. They make many claims about the microphone quality, but to me it sounds as good as any other webcam mic. The last thing to talk about is the built-in speaker. I'm honestly surprised at the audio quality considering. It doesn't sound as rich as my regular PC speakers, but I suppose it could outperform a low-end laptop speakers. And the mic does a surprisingly good job of compensating for the speaker. When I switch to the onboard speaker, the mic levels drop to 0, even though I can hear the music just as well. It's all a little difficult to get across in this video, but here's an ultimate test. Let's see how well the mic picks up audio even while its speaker is playing music. Remember, this is not a typical use case. At most, you'd only expect to be talking over other people occasionally, not a bed of music. First, a recording without the speaker on.
Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you.
Next, a recording with the speaker playing music. This is how it sounded in the room.
Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you. Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you.
And this is what the camera's mic picked up.
Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you. Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you.
As you can tell, speaker use definitely impacted the mic's ability to record, but it stripped out all of the music, which is pretty impressive. So, as I said at the beginning, I'm not convinced that an attached speaker is very useful, but perhaps under the right circumstances it can come in handy. I've mentioned that I'm live streaming more. I've been wanting a camera to use for pickup streams and crafting streams. I've used my phone in the past with some degree of success. Recently, I've been using one of my wife's mirrorless cameras and capturing its HDMI out. This has allowed me to stream footage like this from a recent relaxing Mega Constructs build stream. Let's see what kind of footage the RC08 can achieve in the same setup. To be honest, it's unfair to compare it head-to-head with a several $100 Sony digital camera, but it does give you an idea of its qualities and limitations when it comes to content creation. As I said, it's a perfectly adequate webcam for conferencing or for a starting streamer, but I don't find it to be exceptionally versatile beyond those uses. It's doing an admirable job, and I'd use it if I had no other options available, but the wide-angle lens isn't that well suited for this type of shoot. My goal with videos such as this is not to convince you to buy the featured product. My goal is always to provide enough information and context so you can decide for yourself. I hope I've done that here. If you want to know more, there are product links below, and thank you again to Rocware for the consideration.